eloquently speaking. Welcome back to another episode of Legal Talk, where law meets justice and advocacy becomes action. I'm your host, Dr. Vickie Simon, and what I'm about to talk about today is very urgent. It's not hypothetically speaking, and it's not optional. It's about life or death. Just in Mesquite, Texas, a mother that was in active labor was made to wait. Her mother asked, "Are all your patients treated this way, or is it just the black ones?" This woman's baby was born just 12 minutes later. Both the mom and the baby needed extra care in order to be stabilized. This isn't just one incident. It's a part of a pattern of denied service, devalued lives, and systematic neglect, especially of Black women, immigrants, and those that are in underserved communities. Today, we're unpacking what happened in Texas and why this is a red flag, how our women and unborn babies are being harmed, why this is classified as racism in the delivery room, in the clinics, and in hospitals, and why the policy failures are and how we must fight back. Because our women, our legacy carriers, deserve protection, and the unborn, their lives depend on it. We will no longer be silent. Now let's break this down. At a hospital in Mesquite, Texas, a Black woman, on record known as Carrie Jones, arrived in full labor. The hospital was more concerned about intake paperwork and delayed her immediate transfer to labor and care. The image of a woman that is circling all over the internet that is in pain was waiting in a wheelchair instead of being rushed to delivery. This is a stark. The baby arrived just minutes after, and the mother and baby required additional care and monitoring. But the question remains, what if the delay had been longer? Let me say this loud. When care is denied in labor, the cost is not just health. The cost is a life. We compare the U.S. maternal mortality rate for Black women in 2003 was 50.3 deaths per every 100,000 lives that were birthed, more than 3 times the rate for white women that were just 14.5 in the same year. This is not a coincidence. It's a warning. More than 5.5 million women that live in counties with limited to no maternity care services. Over 1/3 of the U.S. counties are now maternity care deserts. No birthing hospitals, no OBGYNs, and no midwives in sight. For a woman in labor, the difference between life and death can be minutes, miles, and resources. Underserved communities in rural, Black, immigrant, low-income, urban often bear the brunt. They travel farther, they wait longer, and when something goes wrong, the safety net just gets thinner. And the policy context, a system that continues to underinvest in maternal health, especially in these communities. When hospitals delay care, they make Black women wait. They send paperwork while they're in active labor. This is not benign neglect. It is a reflection of a system that undervalues certain lives. Data, the discrepancy persists even when controlling for income and education. Black women with college degrees still die at higher rates than white women without high school diplomas do. Institutional racism takes many forms, not just over bigotry. It is embedded in policies, funding, and hospital closures and staffing decisions. When women in our communities say they do not feel safe in labor, they are not exaggerating. They are speaking their truth. They are using their advocacy power. The fear you feel when you go into a hospital and wonder if they'll see you or rush you, if they'll listen or dismiss you, that fear is absolutely valid. And today, we're naming it. Now, the failure number one that we see the most that is in demand is lack of accountability. Hospitals are not held responsible for delayed care or maternal deaths at the scale that is needed. Failure number 2 is the infrastructure collapse. Maternity units are closing and the OBGYN deserts are expanding. Failure number 3 are the funding systems that are built on permanence of the majority and not the urgency of the underserved. Failure number 4 are care fragmentations. Immigrants, non-insurance holders, and women of color often have to navigate more barriers through language, transit, or fear of reprisal. What we must demand is national standard of zero tolerance for labor room delays and denial of care, backed by clear regulation and enforcement. We must demand funding that prioritizes maternal health in underserved areas, mobile birth units and community clinics, birthing centers that are in deserts, and justice system oversights of hospitals when failures occur. We need more transparency. We need public reporting, and we need consequences. We also need to demand community voice in hospital governance, include Black women, immigrant women, and underserved communities in board meetings and decision-making councils and budget priorities. We also need to demand building advocacy coalitions, local, state, and national, that don't stop at awareness but push for measurable change. As we speak, millions are at risk of losing Medicaid and SNAP benefits due to redetermination and rollbacks and administrative purges across states. Coverage is being stripped not because they no longer qualify, but because of paperwork errors, failed notices, and bureaucratic failures. In Georgia, nearly 300,000 people have already lost Medicaid as of this fall, and the majority were children, seniors, or disabled residents. Nationally, over 9 million Americans have been disenrolled, and Black and Brown communities are disproportionately affected. These are the very communities where maternity care deserts exist, where hospital closures are rising, where trust in the system is already fragile, and yet we are cutting their lifeline. This is no longer just about emergency room delays. This is about erasing access altogether. When care is delayed, lives are lost. But when coverage is cut, care isn't even an option anymore. This is a policy failure, a budgeting crisis, and an ethical collapse all in one. If we do not fight back, we will be telling generations of women, especially Black, Brown, immigrant, disabled, and low income mothers, that they were never meant to survive childbirth in America. Hear me clearly. This is a fight we are willing to take, because those moms, those babies, and those families, they are not statistics. They are sacred and they are legacy carriers. So I ask you, will you stand or will you sit? Will you push for policy change, or will you allow denial of care to become just the way things are? Will you protect our women and our unborn children, or watch them walk into systems meant to serve them, but that are failing them? I am fighting. I will continue to fight. I will fight for every mother. I will fight for every baby. I will fight for our communities that cannot afford to wait. So I will ask you again, will we stand up or stand by? Will we protect our women and children, or continue to pass policies that erase their access to life-saving care? Healthcare was never supposed to be a privilege. Pregnancy was never supposed to be a death sentence. If today's episode moved you, organize. If it informed you, share it. If it challenged you, plan. And if it reminded you that power lives in people, act. When fear breaks us down, strategy builds us back up. Legal talk isn't just commentary, it's resistance. It's a call to action and a reminder that justice doesn't just come from silence. Thank you for tuning into Legal Talk today. I'm your host, Dr. Vickie Simon. I love you, and I'll see you on the front lines of reform. Until next time, stay informed, stay ethical, and keep serving your community.